She was just his assistant. Nothing more. She had rules, boundaries, a plan for her life that definitely did not include falling for the most dangerous rock star in America. But then she saw the look in his eyes when his bodyguard touched his back. That jealousy, that possessiveness. And she knew, in that moment, everything was about to change. What she did not know was that in 3 days, he would be on his knees in front of the entire world, asking her a question that would ruin everything, or give her everything she never knew she wanted. We are so close to reaching 500 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you are enjoying these stories, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments where you are listening from. Your support means the world and helps bring more stories like this to life. The California sun was merciless that afternoon at the Malibu mansion. Maya Santos adjusted her glasses and checked the schedule on her tablet for the 3rd time in 5 minutes. Being the personal assistant to Damien Cross, the most dangerous and desired rock star in the world, was not a job for the faint of heart. "Maya, did you confirm the interview with Rolling Stone?" Damien's deep voice echoed from inside the house. "Yes, tomorrow at 3. And before you ask, I already told them no questions about the incident in Tokyo." She heard his low laugh, that sound that made thousands of women lose their minds at concerts. Maya had learned to be immune to it. Or at least, she pretended very well. Damien appeared at the glass door, and Maya had to make an effort not to stare. 6'3" of pure sculpted muscle, arms covered in tattoos that told stories she would never fully know. Black hair falling carelessly over eyes so blue they seemed fake. He wore only low-riding sweatpants, and his abdomen looked like it had been carved by a particularly inspired artist. "You're staring," he said with a crooked smile. "I'm checking if you have any visible injuries before the photo shoot. It's my job." "Sure it is." He walked past her toward the infinity pool, and Maya noticed how his back muscles moved with each step. Professional. She needed to stay professional. "Marcus," Damien called out. "Where the hell is my sunscreen?" Marcus Thompson appeared from the pool house, all 250 pounds of him. The bodyguard had been with Damien for 5 years, a former Marine who could kill a man with his bare hands, but blushed when someone mentioned his secret passion for baking cupcakes. "It's in the bathroom, boss. Want me to get it?" "No, I'm going in the pool. Maya can handle it." Maya looked up from her tablet. "Handle what exactly?" "The sunscreen. I burn easy." "You're literally covered in tattoos. How would anyone even notice?" Damien lowered his designer sunglasses and looked at her with those devastatingly blue eyes. "Are you refusing to do your job, Miss Santos? Applying sunscreen is definitely not in my job description." "It is now." Before Maya could protest, he had already stretched out on one of the lounge chairs, face down, clearly expecting her to comply. She looked at Marcus, who shrugged with an amused expression. "I'm not paid enough for this," she muttered, grabbing the bottle. "I heard that, and I pay you extremely well." "Not well enough to touch your sweaty back." "I'm not sweaty, I just showered." Maya sighed dramatically and squeezed sunscreen onto her palm. The moment her hands touched his shoulders, she understood why this was a terrible idea. His skin was warm, his muscles hard as rock beneath her fingers, and she could feel him relax under her touch. "You have good hands," he murmured. "Please don't make this weird." "I'm not making it weird. You're the one breathing heavy." "I am not breathing heavy." From across the patio, Marcus watched the scene with poorly disguised interest. He had been Damien's shadow for years, had seen women throw themselves at the rock star like their lives depended on it. But Maya was different. She treated Damien like he was just another annoying human being, and Marcus found that incredibly refreshing. "Need help with that?" Marcus asked, walking closer. Maya's hands paused on Damien's lower back. "Actually, yes. My hands are cramping." Before Damien could react, Marcus had taken the bottle from her and was efficiently applying sunscreen to areas Maya had missed. His large hands worked quickly, and professionally. "What the hell, Marcus?" Damien sat up abruptly. "You said you burn easy. I'm being thorough." "I didn't ask you to touch me." "You didn't specify who should do it." Maya bit her lip to keep from laughing. Damien's face was a mixture of confusion and indignation that she had never seen before. The man who commanded stadiums of screaming fans, who had women literally tattooing his face on their bodies, was pouting because his bodyguard had touched his back. "This is unprofessional," Damien declared, standing up and grabbing his towel. "This is hilarious," Maya corrected. "You're both fired." "You can't fire me. You already tried 3 times this month," Maya said calmly. "And you definitely can't fire Marcus. Remember what happened with the last bodyguard?" Damien's jaw tightened. The last bodyguard had sold photos of him sleeping to a tabloid. Marcus had handled the situation. Nobody asked how. "Fine. But new rule. Only Maya applies sunscreen." "That's ridiculous," Maya protested. "It's a direct order." "From my boss? Or from a petty child?" The tension between them crackled like electricity before a storm. Marcus watched, recognizing something in Damien's eyes that the Rockstar himself probably didn't understand yet. Damien stepped closer to Maya, close enough that she could smell his cologne mixed with chlorine, and something uniquely him. "From your boss, Miss Santos, who signs your very generous paychecks. The money doesn't mean I have to like you. I don't need you to like me. I need you to do your job. Then let me do my actual job, which is managing your schedule, not massaging your ego along with your back. My ego is just fine. Your ego has its own zip code." Marcus coughed, and they both turned to look at him. "Sorry, just enjoying the show." Damien ran a hand through his hair, a gesture Maya had come to recognize as his tell when he was frustrated. "We have rehearsal in 2 hours. I expect both of you ready." He stalked off toward the house, and Maya let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "You know he's not really mad, right?" Marcus said quietly. "Could have fooled me. That's not anger. That's something else entirely." Maya looked at the bodyguard, at his knowing expression, and felt her cheeks warm. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sure you don't." Marcus handed her the sunscreen bottle. "Keep this close. I have a feeling you'll be needing it again." That evening, at the rehearsal studio in downtown Los Angeles, Maya tried to focus on her work. The band was running through their set list for the upcoming tour, and she needed to coordinate with the venue managers, the merchandise team, and approximately 47 other people who all needed something from Damien Cross. But her eyes kept drifting to the stage, where Damien was shirtless again, guitar strapped across his chest, voice raw and powerful as he screamed lyrics about desire and destruction. "He writes about what he knows," Marcus said, appearing beside her with 2 coffees. "Destruction? Desire." Maya took the coffee and avoided his eyes. "That's ridiculous." "Is it?" Marcus nodded toward the stage, where Damien was staring directly at her while singing a particularly intense verse about wanting what you can't have. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're the inspiration for that new song." He wrote that months ago. He rewrote the lyrics last week, after you told him his previous version was, and I quote, "emotionally shallow and repetitive." Maya felt her heart skip. "I was giving professional feedback. You called his creative work emotionally shallow." "It was. And he changed it. For you." Marcus sipped his coffee. "In 5 years, I've never seen him change a single lyric for anyone." The song ended, and Damien jumped off the stage, sweat glistening on his impossibly perfect body. He grabbed a water bottle and drained half of it in one go, his throat working in a way that made Maya's mouth go dry. "What do you think?" he asked, stopping in front of her. "The bridge needs work. The transition feels rushed." "I meant about the lyrics." Their eyes met, and Maya saw something vulnerable beneath his usual arrogance. something that made her remember he was human, not just a rock god. "They're better," she admitted. More honest. A genuine smile crossed his face, transforming his dangerous features into something almost boyish. "Coming from you, that's practically a standing ovation. Don't let it go to your head." Too late. His phone buzzed, and the moment shattered. Damien's smile faded as he read the message. "What is it?" Maya asked, immediately in assistant mode. "Paparazzi found my location. There's about 30 of them outside." Marcus was already moving, speaking into his earpiece, coordinating with the security team. Maya pulled up the building's exit points on her tablet. "Service entrance is clear. I can have the car there in 4 minutes." Damien looked at her, something unreadable in his eyes. "What would I do without you, Maya?" "Crash and burn, probably." Probably. He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, a gesture so unexpected and intimate that Maya froze. "Thank you. For everything." Then he was gone, following Marcus through the back corridors, leaving Maya standing alone with her racing heart and the echo of his touch on her skin. She was in trouble. Deep, dangerous, undeniable trouble. 3 days later, Maya found herself at a private beach in Santa Barbara, setting up for Damien's photo shoot with Vanity Fair. The magazine had wanted something raw and intimate, so here they were, with a minimal crew and maximum drama. Damien had been in a mood all morning, snapping at stylists and glaring at anyone who dared to breathe in his direction. "What's wrong with him?" the photographer whispered to Maya. "Nothing. He's always like this." That was a lie. Something had shifted since that moment in the rehearsal studio, and Maya couldn't quite figure out what. Damien had been distant, almost cold, avoiding eye contact and keeping their interaction strictly professional. She should have been relieved. This was what she wanted, wasn't it? Boundaries, professionalism, a clear line between her job and whatever inappropriate feelings had started creeping into her heart. But instead, she felt hollow. "Maya!" Marcus called from near the water. "We need you over here." She jogged across the sand, tablet clutched to her chest, and found Marcus holding a very distressed-looking Damien. "What happened?" "Jellyfish," Marcus said grimly. "Stung his leg." Damien was sitting on a rock, his jaw clenched in pain, a red welt already forming on his calf. Despite everything, Maya felt her heart clench with worry. "We need to neutralize the sting," Marcus said. "The first aid kit is in the car, but there's a faster way." "If you suggest what I think you're going to suggest, I will end you," Damien growled. "It's a myth anyway," Maya said quickly. "Vinegar works better. I'll get the kit." She ran to the car, grabbed the supplies, and returned to find Marcus carefully examining the wound. His large hands were surprisingly gentle as he cleaned the area. "I've got it from here," Maya said, kneeling beside Damien. "You should check the perimeter. Make sure no photographers got shots of this." Marcus nodded and headed off, leaving Maya alone with Damien. She worked in silence, applying the vinegar solution and then a soothing gel. She could feel his eyes on her, watching her every movement. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly. "It's my job to keep you functional." "Is that all I am to you?" "A function." Maya's hand stilled. She looked up, meeting those impossible blue eyes, and saw something she had never seen before. Uncertainty, maybe even fear. "Damien, forget it." He tried to stand, wincing at the pain. "We should get back to the shoot." "Sit down." She pushed him gently back onto the rock. "You're not going anywhere until I wrap this properly." "Since when do you give me orders? Since you became incapable of taking care of yourself." A ghost of a smile crossed his lips. "You sound like my mother." "I sincerely doubt your mother had to deal with jellyfish stings at photo shoots." "You'd be surprised. She was a groupie in the 80s, followed bands across the country." Maya paused her rapping. "I didn't know that." There's a lot you don't know about me. Whose fault is that? Their eyes met again, and this time, neither looked away. The crash of waves filled the silence between them, and Maya became acutely aware of how close they were. She could see the individual droplets of salt water on his chest, the slight tremble in his hands, the way his pupils dilated when he looked at her. Maya. His voice was rough, barely above a whisper. I need to tell you something. What? Before he could answer, Marcus reappeared with the photographer in tow, shattering the moment completely. We're clear, Marcus announced. No one got any shots, but we should wrap up soon. There's a storm coming. Damien stood abruptly, testing his leg. Let's finish this. Maya watched him walk away, frustration and longing warring in her chest. Whatever he had been about to say, she might never know. The rest of the photo shoot was tense. Damien posed on the rocks, in the water, against the dramatic sky, but his eyes kept finding Maya. The photographer noticed. There's incredible tension in these shots, she murmured. I don't know what's happening between you two, but it's translating beautifully on camera. There's nothing happening between us, Maya said firmly. Honey, the air practically vibrates when you look at each other. That's just irritation. Sure it is. By the time they wrapped, the promised storm was rolling in. Dark clouds gathered over the ocean, and the wind had picked up considerably. The crew packed quickly, racing the weather. The road might flood, Marcus said, checking his phone. There's a hotel about a mile up the coast. I've booked 3 rooms. 3 rooms? Maya asked. 1 for security to monitor through the night. 1 for Damien. 1 for you. I could just share with security. No, Damien said flatly. You get your own room. That's not necessary. It wasn't a suggestion. The hotel was small and charming. A converted Victorian mansion with ocean views and creaking floors. The kind of place that felt romantic and intimate. Exactly the wrong environment for Maya's current state of mind. Her room was directly next to Damien's. Of course it was. She had just finished unpacking her emergency overnight bag, always prepared for unexpected situations, when there was a knock at her door. Damien stood in the hallway, still in his clothes from the shoot, a bottle of wine in one hand and 2 glasses in the other. We need to talk. It's late. I don't care. He pushed past her into the room, and she didn't have the energy to stop him. The storm was raging outside now, rain lashing against the windows, thunder rumbling in the distance. Damien set the wine on the small table and poured 2 generous glasses. He handed one to Maya without asking. Drink. You're very bossy tonight. I'm always bossy. You just usually ignore it. He took a long sip of wine. Today, at the beach, I was going to tell you something. I remember. I've been trying to figure out how to say this for weeks, maybe months. He ran a hand through his hair, that familiar gesture of frustration. I'm not good at this. Talking about feelings. I write songs because it's easier than actually saying the words. Maya set down her glass. Damien, what are you trying to say? That day at the mansion, when you were applying sunscreen, when Marcus touched my back, he laughed bitterly. I wanted to kill him, not because he violated some privacy or crossed a professional line, but because in that moment, looking at his hands on my skin, all I could think was that they should be your hands. Only your hands. Maya's breath caught. I know it's inappropriate. I know you're my employee. I know every rule says this is wrong. He stepped closer, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body. But I can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop wanting you. Every song I write now is about you. Every woman who throws herself at me, and there are hundreds, they all disappear the moment you walk into a room. Damien, tell me I'm crazy. Tell me you feel nothing. Tell me to leave and I will. I'll never bring this up again." His voice cracked slightly. "But I needed you to know, because pretending is killing me." The storm outside seemed to pause, holding its breath along with Maya. She had spent 18 months building walls around her heart. 18 months convincing herself that the attraction she felt was just normal appreciation for an objectively beautiful man. 18 months lying to herself. "You're my boss," she said quietly. "I know. This could ruin everything. I know. I could lose my job, my reputation, everything I've built. I would never let that happen. You can't promise that. I can promise I would burn my entire empire to the ground before I let anyone hurt you." Maya laughed despite herself. "That's incredibly dramatic. I'm a rock star. Drama is my whole thing." She looked at him, really looked at him, beyond the muscles and the tattoos and the dangerous beauty, beyond the arrogance and the fame and the endless noise. And she saw a man who was terrified. A man who had everything and nothing. A man who had finally found something he wanted that he couldn't simply buy. "I don't do casual," she said. "Neither do I, not with you. If we do this, it changes everything." "Everything's already changed. The moment I met you." He reached out, his hand trembling slightly, and cupped her face. "Maya Santos, I am desperately, ridiculously, probably unhealthily obsessed with you. I want you in every way a person can want another person. I want your sharp tongue and your quick mind and your stubborn refusal to worship me like everyone else does. I could never worship you. Your ego is already insufferable. I know. That's why I need you." He leaned closer, his breath warm against her lips. "Tell me to stop. Tell me this is wrong." "It's wrong," she whispered. "It's absolutely, completely wrong." "Then why are you leaning closer?" "Because I'm apparently as stupid as the rest of them." "No." He shook his head slowly. "You're nothing like them. You never could be." When his lips finally met hers, the storm outside exploded. Lightning cracked across the sky. Thunder shook the windows. Rain pounded against the glass. It was dramatic and ridiculous, and perfectly timed, like something from one of his music videos. Maya didn't care. She kissed him back with 18 months of suppressed desire, her hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. He groaned against her mouth, his arms wrapping around her waist, lifting her like she weighed nothing. "Tell me you feel it," he murmured against her lips. "I feel it. Tell me this is real. This is real." He pressed her against the wall, his body solid and warm and impossibly perfect against hers. Maya had never felt so consumed, so wanted, so completely undone by another person. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Damien rested his forehead against hers. "I should go," he said reluctantly, "before I do something we're both not ready for." "That might be wise." "I'm never wise." "I know. It's exhausting." He laughed, a genuine sound of joy that transformed his face. "Good night, Miss Santos." "Good night, Mr. Cross." He stole one more kiss, soft and sweet, then forced himself to step away. At the door, he turned back. "For the record, Marcus totally called this months ago." "Called what?" "That I was falling for you. He's annoyingly perceptive. Most Marines are." Damien smiled, that crooked smile that made millions of women swoon, but this time it was just for her. "See you in the morning." When the door closed behind him, Maya slid down the wall, her legs unable to support her anymore. She was in trouble. Wonderful, terrifying, life-changing trouble. And she wouldn't have it any other way. The morning after the storm, Maya woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and the smell of coffee drifting under her door. She opened it to find a tray with a perfect breakfast, a single red rose, and a note in Damien's surprisingly elegant handwriting. Last night wasn't a dream. Meet me on the beach when you're ready. Her heart did a stupid little flip. On the beach, Damien was waiting by the water, watching the waves clean up the debris from the storm. He turned when he heard her footsteps, and his smile was so unguarded, so genuinely happy, that Maya felt something shift permanently in her chest. "You came," he said. "You brought me breakfast." It seemed rude to refuse. He laughed and pulled her into his arms, kissing her slowly, thoroughly, like they had all the time in the world. When he finally let her go, she was dizzy. "We should talk about this," she said breathlessly. "Make a plan." Always the assistant. Someone has to be practical. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his touch achingly gentle. "Here's my plan. I'm going to take you to dinner tonight. A real dinner. Not a working meal, not a networking event. Just you and me. The press will find out. Let them. Damien, this could become a huge scandal. The Rockstar and his assistant. They'll tear me apart. Then I'll tear them apart right back." His eyes hardened with something fierce and protective. "Maya, I've spent my entire career being what everyone else wanted me to be. The bad boy, the rebel, the man who gives zero damn about anything. But I'm tired of that version of myself. I want to be someone better, someone worthy of you. I never asked you to change. You didn't have to. You just showed me that I could." They walked along the beach hand in hand, talking about everything and nothing. Maya learned about his childhood, the poverty he'd grown up in, the mother who worked 3 jobs to give him guitar lessons. He learned about her dreams, the ones she'd put aside to build someone else's empire. "What would you do?" he asked. "If you weren't working for me?" "I used to want to be a writer. Romance novels, actually." She blushed. "It sounds stupid. It sounds perfect." He stopped walking and turned to face her. "Why did you give it up?" "Life got in the way. Bills needed to be paid. The practical thing was to use my organizational skills instead of my imagination." "What if you didn't have to choose?" "What do you mean?" "Write your book. Take whatever time you need. I'll cover everything." "Damien, I can't let you do that." "Why not?" "I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. Let me use it for something that matters." He cupped her face in his hands. "Let me use it for you. We've been together for approximately 12 hours. You can't make that kind of offer." "I can make whatever offer I want. I'm a rock star, remember? We're dramatic." Maya laughed despite herself. "You're impossible. And you're extraordinary, which is why you deserve to chase your dreams instead of managing mine." Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. Then hers. Then Marcus appeared at the top of the beach access stairs, his expression grim. "We have a problem," the bodyguard announced. The problem, it turned out, was a photographer with a telephoto lens who had captured their beach kiss. The images were already spreading across social media, and Damien's publicist was having a meltdown. "We can deny it," the publicist said over speakerphone as they drove back to Los Angeles. "Say it was a fan encounter, that you were just being friendly." "No," Damien said firmly. "We're not denying anything. Damien, think about the tour, the brand partnerships, the image we've carefully cultivated. My image is that I don't give a damn what people think. This is me not giving a damn. But the assistant angle, the power dynamic. People are going to crucify her." Maya felt sick. This was exactly what she had feared. Her reputation, her career, everything she'd built being reduced to tabloid fodder. Damien took her hand. "Then we control the narrative. We're not hiding this relationship. We're announcing it. Damien, you don't have to protect me. I want to, and I'm going to." He looked at her with absolute certainty. "Maya Santos, would you be my girlfriend? Officially. Publicly." So everyone knows you're not some dirty secret, but the woman I'm proud to be with? This is insane. That's not a no. She looked at him, at this infuriating, dramatic, beautiful man who had turned her carefully ordered life completely upside down. Yes. His smile could have powered all of Los Angeles. The press conference was held 2 days later at Damien's record label headquarters. Maya had never seen so many cameras in her life. She stood beside him, her hand in his, as he addressed the crowd. "I have an announcement," he said, his voice carrying that same power he used on stage. "I'm in love." The room exploded with questions. Her name is Maya Santos. She's been my assistant for 18 months, and she's the most incredible woman I've ever known. She's smarter than me, funnier than me, and she takes absolutely none of my crap. He turned to look at her, his eyes soft. She made me want to be better, and I'm done hiding how I feel. A reporter shouted, "What about the power dynamics? Isn't this inappropriate? Maya is no longer my employee. She resigned this morning." Damien paused, and I immediately offered her a different position. "What position?" another reporter demanded. Damien reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Maya's heart stopped. "This wasn't the plan," she whispered. "I don't do plans. I do instincts." He opened the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. "Maya Santos, I know this is fast. I know it's crazy. I know every rational thought says we should wait. Be careful. Do the smart thing." He dropped to one knee in front of hundreds of cameras. "But I've never been smart. I've only ever been passionate. And I have never been more passionate about anything than I am about spending my life with you." The room had gone completely silent. "Say something," he said quietly, just for her. "You're insane. Definitely. This is the most ridiculous thing you've ever done. I prefer to think of it as romantic. Your publicist is going to kill you. Probably." He smiled, that crooked smile she had grown to love. "So what do you say? Want to be ridiculous with me?" Maya looked at the ring, at the man kneeling before her, at the hundreds of cameras capturing this moment. She thought about her careful plans, her safe choices, the walls she'd built to protect herself. Then she thought about how it felt to be in his arms, how it felt to be truly seen. "Yes," she said. The room erupted. Damien slid the ring onto her finger and stood, sweeping her into a kiss that definitely wasn't appropriate for a press conference. But neither of them cared. When they finally broke apart, Marcus was waiting by the exit, a rare smile on his usually stoic face. "Took you long enough," the bodyguard said. "Did you know about this?" Maya demanded. "Who do you think helped him pick out the ring?" Damien laughed and pulled his friend into a one-armed hug. "You're still fired for the sunscreen incident." "Sure, boss. See you at rehearsal tomorrow." Later that night, in Damien's mansion, Maya sat on the edge of the pool with her feet in the water, watching the stars. The ring on her finger caught the light, sending tiny rainbows dancing across the surface. Damien sat beside her, his shoulder warm against hers. "Any regrets?" "About a dozen, but none that matter." "I love you, Maya Santos." "I love you too." Damien Cross. She leaned her head against his shoulder. "Even though you're dramatic and impossible and way too good-looking for your own good." "That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me." "Don't get used to it." He laughed and kissed the top of her head. "So, about that book you want to write?" "You're not going to let that go, are you?" "Never. I'm thinking you should write about us. About a stubborn assistant who falls for an impossible rock star. That sounds predictable. Add some sunscreen drama. Maybe a jealous bodyguard moment. A storm at a beach hotel." Maya smiled. "It does have potential." "Everything with you has potential." He pulled her closer. "That's what you've taught me. That I can be more than what everyone expects. That love doesn't have to be a performance. That the best things in life, are the ones you never planned for. When did you get so philosophical? Somewhere between the jellyfish sting and the press conference. Speaking of which, your publicist called. She's not actually going to kill you. No. And she says the engagement story is the best press you've had in years. Your album sales spiked 40% today. Damien groaned. Great. Even my love life is a marketing opportunity. Welcome to fame. I hate it. No, you don't. No, I don't, he admitted. But I would. If I had to choose between this life and you, I would choose you every single time. Maya turned to face him, seeing the truth of it in his eyes. This man, this impossible, beautiful, dramatic man, meant every word. You'll never have to choose, she said. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Promise. He kissed her then, soft and slow and full of forever. Above them, the California stars shone bright, witnesses to a love story that had started with Sunscreen and ended with forever. It was ridiculous. It was dramatic. It was absolutely perfect. And as they sat there together, the Rockstar and his assistant, the bad boy, and the woman who saw through all his walls, they both knew that this was just the beginning. The best kind of beginning. The kind that starts with chaos and ends with love. What would you have done in Maya's place? Would you have risked everything? Your career, your reputation, your carefully built life, for a man who could have anyone in the world? Or would you have kept your walls up, stayed safe, and wondered for the rest of your life what could have been? Damien knelt in front of hundreds of cameras, put his heart on the line in front of the entire world. He chose vulnerability over protection. He chose love over image. Some will say it was reckless. Some will say it was romantic. Some will say Maya was foolish to say yes so fast. But here is the real question. When was the last time someone looked at you the way Damien looked at Maya? When was the last time you felt so seen, so wanted, so completely chosen? Love is not logical. Love does not wait for the perfect moment. Love does not care about your 5-year plan or your carefully constructed boundaries. Love just is. So tell me, what do you believe? Was this a fairy tale or a disaster waiting to happen? Was Damien brave or impulsive? Was Maya courageous or naive? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what you would have done. And if this story made your heart race, even just a little, if you found yourself rooting for Maya and Damien, if you stayed until the very last word, then you are exactly the kind of person who belongs here. Subscribe to this channel. Be part of this community. Because stories like this, real emotions, raw moments, unexpected love, this is what we do here. Every new subscriber means more stories, more romance, more drama, more moments that make you feel something. So hit that subscribe button. You will not regret it. And stay tuned, because the next story might just break your heart in the best possible way.